Here we go now.
We all have busy lives, and I know especially around the holidays, cooking, cleaning, shopping, returning gifts makes it even busier. So why not make it a lot easier when it comes to preparing your meals in just 2 minutes? Our friends over at Factor Meals are back here again to sponsor today's live recap. And they have actually some good news, especially for those that have New Year's resolutions to lose weight. Ready to optimize your nutrition this year? Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that makes eating, well, easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes so that you can fuel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Why not lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with Factor Keto meals based on randomized controlled clinical trial with Factor Keto? Results will vary depending on diet and exercise. And as always, we've gotten you a deal. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/Kempire50 off and use code Kempire50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code Kempire50 off at factormeals.com/Kempire50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. More information on Factor Meals and your discount will be available in the description. Now let's get back to the show. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, guys, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to share the video, and don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate you all being here for our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City with a sprinkling of Real Housewives of New York. I saw that they had their highest rating of the season this past week. I'm actually shocked by that, but who knows? Maybe people were bored, and maybe people forgot how bad the season was. So they're like, oh, let me give it a shot. Also, they're not paying me, but they should by giving us a discount for Peacock. But the first 3 episodes of The Traitors US is now available on Peacock as well. We will be talking about that at some particular point. I haven't decided when, but I have to watch it first. I've been too busy watching Roni again. I know, feel sorry for me. And watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. But before we get into today's live, I do want to send out my heartfelt prayers for everyone affected by the fires in California, Southern California. I've been seeing all the news. I've been seeing all the different reports, all the footage. It is horrific in California. I do believe in the power of prayer. So let's continue to pray for everyone affected by these fires. It's horrific. And be sure to check on your loved ones and your friends that live out there in California, because I don't think people realize where some of these fires are happening, and they're happening in different spots of Southern California. So be sure to check in on your friends and family that are there. So prayers to them as we continue to fight these fires in California. All right, into some lighter conversation. Let's talk about Real Housewives. I don't know if this is much lighter, but a break from the day-to-day. Real Housewives of New York. I know. You're like, Kempire, you're still talking about it? Well, we're not doing a separate live talking about it. So we've added it to our Salt Lake City. I'm sorry, Salt Lake City, you don't deserve this. I probably should have added it to Beverly Hills because they probably deserve it more. But why do that to us, right? All right. Plus, also, I didn't have time to watch it in time for Beverly Hills. So, priorities, okay? Real Housewives of New York. As you know, when we recapped it last year, I said this girls trip, this group trip was falling short. And I said for the season to be decent last year, and then we get to the group trip and now it's like terrible. We're having the same thing happen. And I don't know what it is. I was blaming production before, but production only can deal with what they have. And what they have are women that are pre-producing. And look, and we get it. People gossip. People talk about each other. It just feels so forced in this group. Because the last few weeks, we've been talking about Brynn making up all these different stuff. Now we have Brynn, Sai, and whoever. I don't know if it was Aaron. Sidebar, Aaron and Brynn are the same person. I'm convinced. They are the same person. Before I was giving Aaron a little leeway, but no, they're both trying to produce and create stuff that's not there. I think Aaron just kind of gets away with it a little bit more, maybe because she's a little more obvious with it versus Brynn, who's trying not to be so obvious with it and she's just bad at it and she's doing it every single second. That might be it. So now they have an issue with Jessel. Here's the thing. And look, in real life, we get it. Conversations with all this, we're talking about people's relationships, but we're not on national television. Okay, when we have these conversations about people and their terrible marriages, we're not on television. I do agree that Jessel has changed since season 1. In a good way. Jessel has had a glow up. She looks great. She seems like she's having a good time. She's getting along with everyone. But the fact that these people, specifically Brynn, find a problem with her having a photo shoot at her birthday party and then her kid's party, I didn't see a big deal. I just felt like Brynn was just trying to create something again. She had beef with Uba. She had beef with Rebecca. Now she has beef with Jessel. It feels a lot and too much. Brynn, get your own storyline and stop messing with everyone else. But honestly, after this, I don't think we have to even worry about Brynn or the rest of this cast. Just saying. So we have that, but now they're messing with Jessel's marriage. Look, do I believe the story is true that Jessel was in love with a black man, but her family did not see it for that? Yes. But would I bring that on national television when she is full on married to someone else and has kids with that man? And look, Pavitt probably knows that he's second best and was the second choice. Maybe. But that was, first of all, Jessel, you were wrong for even telling these chicks your business because they are not your friends. But I think Jessel sometimes is a little bit of a she's a little bit of a didn't, okay? So that might be part of the reason why she felt comfortable enough sharing this type of information with Brynn. And look, Brynn, you of all people talking about how Jessel has decorated her home, the upgrade of the home and decorate her home. There was still a tag. Sai pointed out there was still a tag on the lamp. I don't know about Sai, but Brynn, you did that too. We didn't see your apartment your first season. Then all of a sudden you got this new upgraded apartment and you did all these changes to it because you were trying to keep up with the Joneses so it could be filmed. I wouldn't be surprised if you're no longer living in that apartment or you returned all the things that you had in it. So I find it interesting that you're talking about Jessel and her Restoration Hardway. Yeah, she probably got everything from Restoration Hardway, which is expensive. But at least she's not returning it, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure you're returning everything from this season. Because you need the money, allegedly. But I found it so weird. And look, not me defending Jessel. But I'm going to defend Jessel because Jessel has done nothing wrong this season. She's tried to be a friend to everyone, be the light, fun energy, having a good time. She upgraded her look. I don't mind it. I was like, good for you, Jessel. Jessel did it right after last season. And she's continued that. Brynn, it sounds like you're bothered. You're probably bothered because Jessel has the things that you want. She has the man. She has the coin. Maybe not all the coin, but at least she has a coin. And she has a man with the coin too. So I feel like you're a little jealous. So, you've moved on from bothering other people. Now you've moved on to Jessel. Now she got me defending Jessel. I'm okay with defending Jessel, though, because Jessel, for me, this season has been just fine. Like, there's been no issue with Jessel this season, right? I mean, oh no, the whole Pavid and the baby stuff. But Pavid, it's actually more on you. Jessel wants another baby, and you're just being ridiculous and immature. Now I understand why she wanted to be with the black man. Honestly, after I heard that she had jungle fever, I was like, oh, okay. I kind of like Jessel even more. Poor Jessel. Woo woo woo. Jessel had to settle for Pavid. Look, normally in real life we would not joke about these things, but y'all put it on. Y'all put it on television. So now we know that Jessel had the fever for a black man. And Pavid was second, maybe third choice. But look, in real life, these things happen in cultures. Parents want, you to marry of the culture. I like Jessel even more. Anyone else? I was like, oh, Jessel. Okay, Jessel. But Jessel's parents were like, no, you need to marry an Indian man. I'm not surprised by that. But Jessel, she's the love of her life wasn't Pavid. Are we surprised? But this group talking about, they're more like friends. Mind you, this is what got them in trouble last season, talking about their marriage. Here you guys, again, in season 2, are talking about their marriage. Like what you just talked about, Pavid probably didn't even know. So now that Pavid knows, Pavid's in his own delusional, influencer world. But he might see this. But Pavid's a problematic in his own right. When Sai was talking about she doesn't see it for him because he called her the B word, and then he flashed back to it, and I was like, oh yeah, Pavid is a jerk. Are we surprised? Tyrese, thank you so much for the super chat. Tyrese says, today is my birthday. And you're sending me a super chat? Happy birthday to all the Capricorns. Tyrese, happy birthday to you. The Capricorns have been very demure. Tyrese probably has a Leo moon. Happy birthday, Tyrese. And happy birthday to anyone else celebrating a birthday today. Critical says Jessel wanted a strong man. Yeah, and that isn't Pavid. But here's the thing. The fact that we're even talking about this, I'm so uncomfortable talking. Look, do I seem uncomfortable? I'm a little uncomfortable talking about it because when you think about it in the real world, yes, we know plenty of people. I know somebody. I'm not talking people's business because they're not on reality television. But I know some people that have gotten married that shouldn't have gotten married. Who am I talking about? No one close to me. Because I tell my friends the truth. Like, I don't know if you should marry this person. But I know of somebody that got married not too long ago that shouldn't have got. Look. Everyone's doing the math. Who? You don't know these people. But they shouldn't have gotten married. But I'm not telling their business like, on national television. Wow. Hold on. Wait, I wanted to highlight a comment. Oh, wait. Paris says, so sad and disrespectful that they brought it up after what happened last season and just in general. Exactly. Like, didn't you guys read the room from last season? You talking about her marriage? And now you're bringing this up? And I think Sai thought she was saving face by bringing it up to Jessel later. No, you weren't. Christine said her husband already ordered some of the factor meals. My factor meals came yesterday. I don't know, especially now after the live. I need because I have an appointment. I need something very quick and easy. Factor's got you covered. Our discount code is available in the description, y'all. Okay. Critical says lots of friends fit into that you had no business category. But we don't say it to the public. We might say it to our other friends, but we don't say it to the public. Okay? Okay. Here, I felt for Aaron because, as you know, we found out that shortly after filming, Aaron's father died. And we see in this episode when Uba, here, this is what I talk about Virgos. Sorry, Virgos, you're going to get it right now. Virgos just speak without even thinking. Sometimes they just start saying stuff and they don't realize how it can hurt people's feelings. And that's what I noticed about Uba. Uba is a Virgo. So Uba's talking about how parents can, get cancer and you can't change. And look, I'm not saying what she's saying is wrong, But literally, as you know, Erin's dealing with her mother with cancer, and Erin didn't tell the group, but her father was diagnosed with cancer again. His cancer has come back. So she walks away from the table and she gets really emotional about it. Understandable. And I think Uba realized, oh, damn, I did something wrong. So she goes to check on her. Uba has been so draining. And look, and that's saying a lot because there's so many draining people on this cast. But Uba is not fun. One minute you're okay with whatever room you have. The next minute you're cursing and saying, I'm going to another hotel. The next minute, at the end of this episode, she's like, I mean, the beach was a little shaky. But again, Virgo, not reading the room, like this is a beach that Raquel grew up with. This is a part of her culture. This is a part of who she is. This is her identity. And you're talking about and fixing your face like, ew, ew. I mean, there was a dead pigeon and there was a dead fish. But look, there are plenty of situations when we are uncomfortable or there's, we're at someone's house and the house is dirty. And we don't say anything. We talk about them at the kitchen table with our closest friends that we know won't say anything. Okay? Yvette says that Uba is African, very blunt. I think it's a combination of that and a combination that she is also a Virgo. Straightforward, okay? And doesn't read the room all the time. Okay. Look, K-Baby says, I'm sorry, but the water was dirty. I wouldn't get it either. Look, but would you have made an announcement screaming to everyone, oh my God, the water is dirty. Look, we saw all the examples. What I would have done, I would have been like, you know what, I'm not getting in this water. Look, I'm not getting in this water. But she had so many histrionics about it. And mind you, if this was the only thing Uba did during this trip, I think we could be like, okay, whatever. She had a little faux pas, okay? But I was like, no, it's one thing after the other. One thing after the other. Okay. Oh, Johnny says, a nice photo, Johnny Bravo. Says, naggy Virgos. I don't know if I'm going to call it naggy, okay? But, yeah. Hold on, Derek says, we talk a lot about zodiac signs and we know you love Aries women, but I haven't heard a peep about Aries men. Give me some insight about myself. Wait, I'm taking a closer look. Handsome. I'm going to tread lightly. I don't have a lot to say about Aries men because I don't know a lot of Aries men. The experience I have of Aries men is not a lot, but not the greatest. But I think you guys mean well. I think you mean well. However, I have more of experience with Aries women, which I do on some level think that they're similar in a way. But yeah. Teresa says that Uba lacks emotional maturity. She lacks a lot. She lacks the ability to have fun and be enjoyable to watch too. No one on this cast has been enjoyable to watch this season. Why are we still... Jenna, cut the JJ hair. Why do we even know that Jenna's hair on her head, the hair on her head is very much like the hair on her vajayjay? Why do we know that? And why is it that long? Because shouldn't you trim it? So it's not, anyways. All right. His bookie bear says, Virgos can be incessant at times. I'll give you that, Kempire. Yeah. Or it could also just be Uba's personality. Okay? I know some of you are like, oh, here goes that. It could also just be Uba's annoying. All right? Uba could just be, hello, Dolly. Say hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. Sorry. Joe says, Joe's going to say something. Kempire's experience to Aries men is limited to those found on Tinder. Joke. Really? I don't even know what their sign actually, unless they put it in their profile, I won't know what their astrological sign is. Here I go making your joke logical, right? All right. Okay. Dawn says, I thought it stops growing at some point, right? You asking me? Ask her. That's disgusting. Our show says Uba is insufferable. Here's the thing, and this is why Real Housewives of New York is so insufferable, is because there's more than one insufferable person on the cast. It's one thing when you have one or two, but we have multiple insufferable people on the cast. We've got Bryn, we've got Uba, we've got Sai can be insufferable. She's not as insufferable this season. Honestly, Sai, though, I wish you would just be yourself. I could tell that you're not being yourself anymore. I feel like you've reacted to what everyone said about you last season, and honestly, you shouldn't have changed. I told you last season not to change, and you changed the season, and now you're boring. And now you're boring. I told you not to change. Stop listening to the Bravo universe, and now you're boring. Anyways, what else happened? So we already had that little fight at dinner between Uba and Bryn, and Uba insinuates, "I don't know how you got your job. I didn't get my job by sleeping with anyone to get on this show." So Bryn is like, "Oh, she's so wrong for saying something like that." Well, buckle up. This situation is far from over. So we had that moment. We had Erin talk about her father getting diagnosed with cancer, her cancer coming back. Okay. But yeah, look, if you had to rate Real Housewives of New York City's latest episode from 1 to 10, how would you rate it? I'm gonna give it a 3, and I think I'm being generous. And the way I'm rating all the Housewives shows right now is because of them. I'm rating it on a curve. However, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is killing it. It's killing it. And I don't say that lightly. And I will say that I was wrong. I was very worried that this season was going to be terrible. I really was. Without Monica who? Damn. I was very worried. But this season, when they announced, I went live last night on TikTok to watch it with our community on TikTok. That's how good it was. That's how I was looking forward to it. I didn't mind watching it again. I might watch it after this again. No, I won't. I did watch the after show. Brittany, you were caught multiple times trying to record this group. That's what we didn't get from the episode. According to the after show, they said that Brittany tried to record them other times. So, Brittany, all your different excuses were falling short. Just saying. Before we get to that, though, before we get to Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, guys, don't forget to like the video. It's easy and it's free. And don't forget to subscribe to the Kempire podcast. While you're there, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Also, don't forget the Kempire After Dark live experience is returning to Washington, D.C. on Friday, January 24th. Literally almost 2 weeks away. Have you gotten your tickets yet? There's a couple of, well, probably a little more than a couple, but there's a low ticket alert for the meet and greet. So if you want to meet me, take pictures, have conversation, ask a question, this will be our opportunity for a one-on-one with me in Washington, D.C. Go get your tickets for that today. And Friday, February 21st, we're returning to New York City for the Kempire After Dark live experience at the Green Room 42. Ticket information is available in the description, along with a live stream option. So if you are in other parts of the United States, or if you are just don't want to come out, if you're in New York or you're in the tri-state area, come to the show. You will be able to meet me at the show. Okay, so stay tuned for more details on that. All the information is available in the description. All right, let me start from the beginning. So Lisa walked away from the table the previous episode. She was upset that that people view her in this particular way. Okay, so she was still a little hurt about that. Bronwyn apparently that night went to her and confessed that she had a conversation with Heather, Whitney, and Angie. I have to say, after this episode, I know I've said Brittany should have gotten a snowflake. I still think that Brittany should have gotten a snowflake. The fact that Brittany gave so much of herself this season and still didn't get a snowflake, girl, you dropped the ball. But I have to say, I feel differently about Brittany this week, and I feel differently about Bronwyn this week. Bronwyn, you showed a side of yourself that I said, wow, another Virgo. You showed a side of yourself this week that made me go, I still want you to come back. It's not, but I have to say, I'm not team you this week. You wanted to throw Heather, you wanted to throw Angie and Whitney under the bus to what? I thought Lisa wanted to be your friend all the time. But again, remember, Bronwyn's trying to play this game because she's trying to divorce the Todd father, allegedly. She's trying to figure out her next move, and her next move is this show. And she feels like she needs to align herself with Lisa to remain on the show. Again, a stupid Heather move. Bronwyn, you are an MVP this season. People like you, but you don't know that yet at this particular time of filming. But I looked at Bronwyn like, you fool. You ran to Lisa and threw them under the bus and then denied it later on? Exactly. Beautiful Gem says that Bronwyn's the MVP. Messy, valuable player. Okay. Ooh, End-Up says, I feel... End-Up, are you guys safe out there? I can't remember. You live in California. You came into California for this show. I can't remember. End-Up says, I feel vindicated. I called it with Bronwyn. I still like Bronwyn. Don't get me wrong. But her move the night before with Lisa showed another side of her. Lisa wanted to be her friend years ago before being on the show. And now I just want to make sure that things are right between us. She wanted to cover herself. Exactly. Tiffany says that Bronwyn's pick-me behavior last night was ridiculous. It turned me so off to her because she gave such boss vibes the entire season, only for us to have that move. No matter way she wants to switch it up on us, I'm still going to look at you sideways because of that. Now you want to suck up to Lisa? Wow. Oh, yes. Okay, End-Up. See, look, my elephant brain's working because I was like, wait, you're from SoCal, but you live in Vegas now. I knew it. Well, I'm glad that you're safe. I hope your family and friends that still live in SoCal are safe as well. Okay. All right. So we find that out. Bronwyn went to Lisa the night before. Mary has, she's waking up and she's like, you know what? During a trip like this, she would normally reach out to Robert Jr., but as you know, Robert Jr. is in rehab. So she's like, she misses being able to reach out to him, but she also feels a load off her shoulders because of him being there in rehab. Let me tell you something. Mary Cosby, if you're not paying attention to Mary Cosby in this episode, you're missing out on so many comedic, shady moments. I mean, there's so many little moments that I missed last night when watching it. I'm watching it now. I'm like, oh, shoot, Mary said what? She said, get her, Meredith, when Meredith was coming after Brittany. I was like, Mary is there's so many moments in this episode. Mary doesn't have to do a lot, but she brings a lot. Look, and honestly, the fact that they made Mary full-time this season was perfect. You had to bring her back. I think the season, remember, the season without Mary is the season that sucked the most, if we're honest. Okay. Johnny Bravo says that she is mother. Yeah. Mary had me kiki. Mary said they were in the Sprinter. Mary had a lot of moments, but this was one of the moments that I missed last night when we were watching it together on TikTok. Someone mentioned it though on TikTok, and I watched it back. And Meredith is like, you need to leave. You are vile. I am going to work on adding that to the soundboard. Okay, I got a few goals for the studio in 2025. You can, and you see Mary in the back. Mary is all of us. With Mary's in the back, she's like, get her, Meredith. Get her. Get her, Meredith. Anyways, I say all that to say, speaking of Meredith, so Meredith goes to, Meredith goes to Heather and she's talking about Brittany. Meredith, honestly, you turned what Brittany said about you into something more nefarious. Now I'm kind of looking like, doesn't Meredith have something going on? Everything, even the end of this episode when they're talking about her marriage, I was like, wait, the more you protest, Meredith, the more I'm like, wait, is there really a problem? And if there is, look, All prayers to you. I'm not even delving into that. But the more she gets upset and bothered by it, makes me go, and the way she keeps changing her story in regards to it, I'm like, Meredith, is something going on? But that's always Meredith. And Meredith's like, I was being transparent. No, you've never been transparent about anything. And the moment you start getting all riled up, I'm like, oh, there's something there. There's something there. All right. Anyway, Meredith believes that Brittany is insinuating that she has an eating disorder. All right. And she's hurt by this because she's like, I threw out Angie out of my bat mitzvah for you. Yeah, you did that, but not for Brittany. You really did that for yourself because you wanted to get back at Angie. Let's be real. But this is where Meredith, her story keeps changing in the episode, like Brittany's. She's like, she admits that she was crying on the phone with Seth. What were you crying on the phone with Seth about? Okay. Foxy says, Team Bathtub Queen always. Well, I will say this, because I've never been a Meredith stan, but I'm glad that no one ever listened to me and got rid of her, because this episode, although she brings nothing in regards to like a personal story, her dramatics made me laugh, okay? But she could be a friend of. She could be a friend of. All right. Let's get to the Sprinter van. So Lisa decides to bring up in the Sprinter van what Bronwyn had told her. So it leads to a back and forth between Bronwyn's like, that's not what I said. I wasn't throwing you guys under the bus. Clearly she was. Clearly she was throwing them under the bus. So Lisa and Whitney get into it. It gets really gross between them. But I know we say a lot about Whitney, but Whitney is no punk. Whitney is like, how about you shut the F up so that I can answer your question as to what she said. Oh, ew, why are we talking about this? Peyton says, Kempire, some men like the full bush. I heard a guy say that he doesn't like it fully bare because it reminds him of a child. Well, Peyton, we are talking about a lesbian with stringy, long vajayjay hair. We're not talking about ew. I don't want to. Ew. First of all, Jenna Lyons, you're not going to get away from between you talking about how you stink, you looking like a wet whatever, and then with the long. Ew. Yeah, please be a lesbian. Look us. I can't even imagine. All right. Let me say thank you. We had a few super chats. Miss Esquire, thank you so much for the super chat. Miss Esquire says, I hate to admit this. We know what we are saying. We know when it is hurtful, Virgo. We sometimes just don't care. Pray for us, September Virgo. Miss Esquire, I appreciate you admitting this because there are going to be Virgos that will confront me at the next Washington, D.C. show or the New York show. They'll be like, you always have to say something about us Virgos, but did I lie? Did I lie? Miss Esquire is telling me, no, I did not. At least I gave y'all some grace. Like, y'all don't know what you're doing. No, but I do think that you guys know what you're doing. Okay. Kim, thank you for the super chat and for being a member. Kim says, friendship in marriages is so satisfying. Shallow Bryn won't understand. Well, Kim, I'm glad you said that about Bryn and them talking about the friendship between Pavitt and Jeslo. You're right. I can see that. But maybe they also don't see the passion between them. Miss Esquire, our resident Virgo. Thank you for the super chat. She says, Uba's wig is giving. Turn it around. It's sophisticated. OMG. Thank you for the super chat. Wesley, thank you so much for the super chat. Wesley says, yes, finally, let's talk about Mary and supporting cast of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Just a little Virgo shade. I mean, I can't imagine the season without her. There's so much that she's offered us. Rahina, thank you so much for the super chat. Ooh, the $20 super chat. Let me shimmy for that one. Okay, $20. Okay. Shout out to everyone that sent in the super chat. I just realized, like, wait, $20. Kempire, hi. You are probably right. Meredith was on the phone with Seth crying, but she was activated this episode. Yeah, I have to say, I enjoyed her. I enjoyed her. Do I think she's ridiculous? Do I think she's battling some demons? Yeah, I do. Joe, thank you for the super chat. Joe says Jenna Lyons should use carrot. Wait, what's that? How do you pronounce this? Caratase thematique, so that so her bush doesn't look like Britney's high body count hair. Oh my god, I don't want to talk about Jenna Lyons' bush anymore. Can we not? Can we move on from Jenna Lyons' bush? Thank you. We're on the Sprinter van. So I really love Angie too. Angie has grown on me a lot. But as they're having this argument because Bronwyn is being a punk and trying to switch it up, girl, how do you own something, a conversation, while throwing other people on the bus? And Heather, you got away lovely with it. And you only got away with it because you and Lisa have a sick alliance. Because Lisa could easily be mad at Heather too, but she's not. Alliance is giving alliance. Okay. So Angie, as Lisa and Whitney are yelling at each other, Angie notices from the corner of her eye, she's like, wait, everyone. Brittany, why are you recording us? And Brittany's like, I wasn't recording. Like, show us what you. First of all, Angie also had a few moments too. She was like, swipe to the left like you do on Tinder. Angie has been cracking me up this entire season. She too. Now I understand the bond between her and Mary. What's going on with you and Mary next week? They're in a better place now. They're filming stuff together. They were recently here in New York together. They're good. But what happens next week? Don't break my heart, sisters. Don't break my heart. Angie says, swipe to the, either she says swipe to the left or swipe to the right, like you do on Tinder. But she's right. Okay. She also said, later on when Brittany admits that she and Jared have been physical, she's like, yeah, I'm glad that you're being physical with him because Jared's being physical with everyone else in Salt Lake City. What? I mean, are we surprised? Are we surprised? I love this episode freaking much. I can talk about it for days. Okay, I might add a little something extra to our Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap on the podcast. So another reason why you should subscribe, because I'm going to have more thoughts, so I will add it there. Okay, I'm saying that before I'm even done here, but I already know. Teresa says I'm enjoying Angie more. Like, she had a few moments in this episode. This cast is amazing. There's not one person on this cast that I'm like. Even Heather. Heather has been obnoxious, and she has no storyline in sight. But Heather's confessionals, there were the moment between her and Meredith, and when they go searching her room. I don't want to rush. All right, let me move on really quickly. So Angie points out that Brittany is recording them, and Angie comes up with all kinds of excuses. Oh, my daughter got 100 on her math test, and then I was recording and this and. She came up with all excuses that didn't make sense. Meredith is losing it in the bag. You are vile. Meredith loved this opportunity because she wanted to discredit. This is Meredith getting into lawyer mode. She wanted to discredit Brittany. She wanted Brittany to look like the biggest liar in the world because she doesn't want people believing anything that Brittany said about her coughing, hacking, throwing up, and crying in her room. She doesn't want anyone believing Brittany. Okay? So this is why you are vile. And she's like, you need to leave. You're recording us? I can't even scream. You're recording us? Yes, Meredith, she's recording you guys. And she's like, and literally, like, she's talking in front of a judge, and she's like, and this is why she has no credibility. Miss Aisha says, I always forget that she's a lawyer. I never forget now, because the way that she does things, I'm sort of like, oh, This is the lawyer in her. She's probably not practicing. No, she's definitely not practicing. She's practicing on this show. She's practicing on this show. Elle Singleton asked the question. Thank you for being a member, Elle. She says, Kempire, do you think Jen Shah's return would improve the show or not so much? I think it would. I mean, I don't know if it would improve the show, but it would add to the show. It's not like she isn't still connected to this cast and to the area. I'm not saying that I want her on the show, but I'm just saying I don't see that it would hurt the show. I mean, she was always an important part of the show. I just don't think they should award her behavior. I think Bravo and NBC should continue to punish her for what she did. I don't think this jail term that keeps getting reduced is enough. Just saying. Because you remember what she was saying up until she was forced by the Southern District of New York to seek a plea deal. Ms. Esquire says, after what they went through last season, I really don't blame them. And that's exactly what they said. They go in. Everybody turns on Brittany in this moment. And here's the thing. I don't blame them for feeling the way that they were feeling. Like, nobody wants to be recorded. And at first, I know a lot of you are thinking, well, you're filming a show. So why is it a big deal that someone's recording you? Well, here's the thing. They trust Bravo to a level, because we also know that they probably shouldn't trust Bravo because they don't know what's going to be released. However, they can't trust Brittany because Brittany has no loyalty to them. She doesn't have any contractual agreement with them. If she decides to take something that maybe at the end of the scene, they're like, yeah, let's not use this. But Brittany now has the argument recorded. She can go fish this to a blogger or leak it online under a Finster account, and it's unedited. So as I'm watching it, I'm having these thoughts. I'm like, well, what's the big deal? The big deal is now she has this evidence that she could use any way that she wants, where it's not controlled by a big conglomerate where they can hold accountable or sue or say, take that out or don't include that. Okay? So as I thought it through, I was like, well, yeah. And apparently on the after show, they said this was not the first time that they caught Brittany recording them. So Brittany, I don't know. Like, I'm a little uncomfortable. Like I think you brought a lot this season, but is Brittany a one and done? I don't trust her. And then in the after show, she told the cast, like, oh, I didn't watch the show before filming the show. Maybe I should have. And they were like, that's a lie, because they caught her watching the show on the airplane. They also saw that she had Meredith's confessional picture in her phone. There's a lot of stuff, apparently embarrassing stuff in the phone. So everyone is going in on Brittany. Lisa's going in on Brittany. Meredith is screaming from the back. All we see is Mary Cosby laughing, and she's like, get her, Meredith, get her. So everyone's going in on her. They stop the sprinter, and Brittany runs out, and she's crying. And look, I felt for Brittany because I can't imagine everybody in the group just turned on you. Now you're enemy number one. You have no alliance with anyone. And clearly she was trying to form alliances with people. She was like, oh, now I'm Lisa's favorite. Now Lisa's turned on you too. So she runs out and she cries. Whitney has a heart. Whitney goes out and checks on her. And she's like, and she keeps changing the story. 1 minute she was texting her daughter. The next minute I was trying to get a little scene. And they showed the multiple times that she changed her story later on in the episode. So Whitney goes to check on Brittany. She's like, you can check my phone. You can check my deleted. Is there a folder on the phone that's deleted that I don't know about? I know there's your deleted folder. You can check that too. And she's like, there's a lot of embarrassing things there too. What is there? What is there? Inappropriate photos of you that you shouldn't be doing? Here's the thing. I've discovered that Brittany is a liar. And in real life, I would not want to be around Brittany. But a lot of these women are liars. Okay? A lot of them are. I know we haven't caught them lying, but a lot of these women are liars on Salt Lake City and in Real Housewives in general. But Brittany is sloppy with it. I don't know. I don't know if Brittany should come back. Do you guys think that Brittany should come back next season? Or should she be a one and done? Because they said this wasn't the first time that they caught her recording them. This is not the first time. But then I thought to myself, the way that she navigated this conversation and switched it and deflected it, no, she might need to come back. She fits right in with this group. She fits right in with this group. Okay. All right. So she's having a little bit of a breakdown. All right. Um, then the group is still annoyed with her. So they go, doing the ATVs. They go across that long bridge. I can't imagine taking an ATV across that bridge when they first said it, but then they went across it and the bridge wasn't even really moving. But I still wouldn't want to personally do it, but they did it. All right. Nobody wanted to be in the ATV with Brittany. Okay. But Heather ended up doing it. Heather should have done it. Heather seems to understand Brittany in a way that we don't. And it's probably because of the religious aspect. So the group ends up going swimming. Mary's commentary in this moment, she's like, good luck with the diarrhea and the runs and the throwing up after jumping in that water. And then she's like, oh, look at Brittany. She's like, Brittany, this is going to be your last jump. The next one is going to be on the plane. The commentary. And shout out to the editors for keeping that in. We needed it. Brittany did look good in her bathing suit. Lisa was just like, it's so interesting how Brittany's just able to move on. She looks great. She looks great in her bathing suit, but we haven't forgotten. I did find it funny, though, in the Sprinter when Lisa and Whitney were arguing. Lisa, in her confessional, wanted to make fun of Whitney's voice. She's like, and it's so funny. Like, you're on the same spectrum of, like, ditzy vocal fry. You just do it with a deeper tone. Whitney's a little bit higher, and you're like, yeah. But it's still vocal fry. It's still not the most intelligent tone of voice, okay? Anyways, Chandler says, Kemp review the reunion looks. I'll have to do that separately, guys, because I like to pull them up, and I don't have time to do that today. So I'll do that separately. So make sure you guys are subscribed, okay? Okay. All right. And plus, there's so much to talk about in this episode. I don't want to. If it had come out earlier before I came live, then I would have included it, but it didn't. It just came out. All right. So they go swimming, funny, great. Then they have lunch. So Mary says to Brittany, like, you're very quiet. Mary is starting the trouble. Okay. Mary says that she's like, I'm just internalizing. And she's like, internalizing? Oh, what? The part that the fact that you got caught? Mary Cosby is not falling for it. Literally. So at this lunch table, Brittany's just like, guys, Brittany learned something from Bronwyn. Because remember when everyone was turning on Bronwyn and Bronwyn was like trying to be relatable. So she opened up about the infidelity with the Todd father. So Brittany learned something. She's like, I'm going to use that and switch it up. She's like, I have to admit something, that I've been physical with Jared. Mary's like, so? Like, we know that already. Mary is all of us. But Heather says, well, you know what? It's different. Ariana says, wait, did you get the sprinkle cookies? Supposedly, allegedly, they're arriving today. They were supposed to come not yesterday, but the day before. Then there was the delay. These sprinkle cookies better not be hoard. Because, anyways, I'll do that as a separate video as well. Okay? Anyways, so Brittany admits that she's been physical with Jared Osmond. Angie, also her commentary, she's like, I'm glad you're being physical with him because word on the street, he's being physical with everybody else in Salt Lake City. But I have to say, although I think Heather was reaching, these are the moments that I always appreciate from Heather, and she's able to bring it back to Mormonism and the scope and mentality of Mormon culture. And this leads to a conversation of Bronwyn talking about, how people shamed her for having her daughter. And she's like, this is a, person that I could not see my life without. But this was also a person that no one wanted me to have. So this becomes this relatable moment. But at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, AV says you ain't AV, gorgeous photo, AV. AV says, you ain't getting those sprinkle cookies. I'm either one way or the other. I'm getting those sprinkle cookies, okay? If I don't get this box, I'm definitely going to get a box. All right? Melissa Gorger has already DM'd me. Yup. Anyways, all right. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's easy and it's free. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. If you had to rate Salt Lake City's episode this week, how would you rate it? 11? 11? And you know I don't say that lightly. 11? It was that good. It was really, really, really good. Johnny Bravo says, Brittany admitting it like she's in an interrogation room on an episode of SVU. Look, but she deflected. Mary Cosby wasn't falling for it, but Heather helped Brittany in this moment. Heather helped her in bringing it back to Mormonism. She's like, no, guys, this is a really big deal. For her to admit this, and Brittany's like, yeah, now that I've admitted this, it's going to change my world. You know, I have so many people in my family that are figures in the church and things like that. And I don't doubt that that's true, but Brittany knew what she was doing. She admitted that because she wanted to deflect. She wanted people to feel sorry for her, and it worked. It worked on everyone except Mary Cosby and Meredith. Meredith was just like, I'm not falling for it. I still feel like you insinuated something about me. Okay, fine. All right. Meredith goes to Heather's room because she feels, she's like, have you heard me? Look, you know, she slurs a lot. Have you heard me in your room? She's like, no, it's like, you don't hear anything over here. So Meredith says to her, I don't know. I feel like the fact that she said she heard me crying on the phone with Seth, did she put something in my room? And this is a moment where I can appreciate Heather Gay. And Heather Gay's almost like immature, childlike personality. She's like, I was born for this moment. I thought this was such a funny moment. Like, this is Housewives moments that I can appreciate. She's like, all right. She didn't even crack a smile. She's like, all right, let's go to your room and let's sweep the room. And they go to the room and they're like checking for things. So what do you guys think actually happened? Where was Brittany's room in relation to Meredith's room? Because I'm guessing Heather's room's right near Meredith's room. So maybe Brittany's on the other side. If you can't hear each other, like I'm trying to understand. What did she hear? Or maybe her bathroom is closer to the door. Maybe she was in the bathroom throwing up, crying on the phone with Seth. But let me tell you, the fact that Meredith has this train of mind, Meredith is trying to discredit Brittany. That's what she's trying to do. She's not falling for it. She's like, everyone else was falling for it. I'm not falling for it. And she goes to Heather with it. Heather's like, ready. I am ready for, sir. This is my calling. This is what I'm here to do. Okay? Again, another reason why I feel like everyone needs to come back, because that was such a funny moment to me. And they go and they sweep the room and they're like, let me see. Do you see anything? Call for me. You know, I can appreciate Heather making light of the eating disorder insinuation for Meredith. I felt like she was trying to comfort Meredith in that moment. But Megan says it was production. Whoever it was, production is doing a fantastic job. I can't believe that this is the same production company that produces Real Housewives of New York. Different producers, though, but it's the same production company. But Salt Lake City has always had this sort of energy that's very different than any of the other cities. It's quirky, it's funny, it's weird, it's the religious stuff, it's the setting of Salt Lake City. It's always been their top tier editing. Any show on Bravo that needs to get nominated for an Emmy, it's them. Okay? They need to. They're so funny. Anyways. So Meredith is on this feeling that Brittany may have bugged her room. What do you think? Honestly, I don't know with Brittany. I don't know. I'm thinking her bathroom is closer to the door and maybe she was in the bathroom coughing. I don't know. Okay. All right. Moving on from there, guys, before we get into the rest of this, when we get to the dinner, I do want to drop the calling link for our members first. So if you're a member of the channel, we're going to drop the calling for you on the community tab. Members, everyone calling in, callers, again, please respect the timer because I have to go. If I have to get out of here by a certain time. If you go over long, I'm going to have to cut other people that are waiting behind you. Please respect the timer. All right, let me drop the call-in link, guys. While I do that, don't forget to like the video. It's easy and it's free. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We did talk briefly about the Real Housewives of New York. You're welcome, Andy. Look, you're welcome, okay? All right, let me put this here. All right, so if you're a member of the channel, we're going to drop the call-in link. It's not one of the member perks, but why not? Why not? Live chat. Let's get to, let me see where we are with the likes. So if you remember, we dropped the calling for you. Members, let's get to 400 likes. Let's get to 400 likes, and I'll drop the calling link for everyone. Kay Avery, thank you for becoming a member. Deborah, thank you so much for the super chat. Deborah says, and an Emmy goes to the cast of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I agree. Like, they had me laughing, infuriated, and just like clutching my pearls when Meredith was screaming, "You're vile, you're disgusting, you need to leave." Annette, thank you so much for the super chat. Annette says, have you noticed that Angie always feels bad when she realizes that she's gone too far? She's showing that she ups it because of the show. Oh, without a doubt. We've said that. That's been one of our criticisms of Angie, is that she does a lot of theatrics, but I also think she's a good person. But she also is living that life. A lot of people that watch Real Housewives want to see people like Angie living that life. You remember during that reunion where she's like, I check off all the boxes for Real Housewives. I was like, okay, very self-aware. Okay. Anyways, Teresa says, I can't wait to watch Traitors tonight. Me too. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. All right. Okay. Okay, so where was I in regards to this? All right, so Meredith went to Heather's room. Okay, so they all get ready and they go to dinner. Okay, Angie wants to go back and revisit the conversation where Bronwyn threw them under the bus. So they revisit that conversation, and Bronwyn's like, "That's not what I did." Yes, it is, Bronwyn. That is what you did. You threw Whitney and Angie under the bus, mind you, after Lisa put you in that villa with them. But for some reason, you want to be connected to Lisa and not them. For whatever reason. It's giving pick me. It's giving less than smart, because I don't think you realize that when this was said and done, that people actually liked you on the show. This week, I'm looking at you with the side like, wow, is that what we're doing? Sidebar, she got ready. Brahmin, I think, had a little refresh after the season, because that's a horde 38. Sorry. Honestly, she looks age appropriate for the Godfather. Anyways, I just say that because I'm saying what you're thinking, okay? I don't know if it was all I was like, rough. Okay. Julie, we are praying for you. She says, please keep those prayers coming. Back to meeting with the doc. Most definitely, Julie. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate your support. Sending love to you and prayers to you and your husband. I know he's not doing well. Hopefully you get some good news today. Keep us posted. Okay. Dr. Jen, happy Thursday. Thank you for being here. Okay. And shout out to our King's Guards, guys. Don't forget to say thank you to our King's Guards for holding us down in the live chat. All right. Come on. Y'all were thinking it about Bronwyn. We were watching it last night on TikTok, and we were like, ooh, that's 38? Exactly. Jan says, Bronwyn's only 38? Yes. All right. I think she had a refresh, though, after the season. And she's not afraid of talking about her plastic surgery. Fine. Okay. So Angie brings that up at the dinner table. Meredith says that Meredith, after they hash out their issues in regards to what Bronwyn said, Meredith wants to revisit her conversation with Brittany. And she's saying that she starts alluding. She doesn't say outright, I think you put a bug in my room. She's just, I find it interesting that, and then again, she changes up the story. I was on the phone with my husband and I had a coughing fit. The more that Meredith makes this an issue, the more I'm like, what was it? What? It feels like something more nefarious happened. right? Alma says she spoke about Bronwyn about getting. Well, no, she talked about her nose jobs. I don't know if she got a refresh and talked about it, but it looks like she did, or maybe she's face tuning. I don't know. Okay. So Meredith brings it back up, and so Brittany's like, "So what are you alluding to?" She's alluding that you put a bug in her room. That's what she's alluding to. I don't think she did. I don't think Brittany is that smart. I don't think she put a bug in the room. I think the bathroom is close. You know, when you go into these hotels, sometimes the bathroom is always near the entrance. I think Meredith was in the bathroom on the phone, in air quotes, on the phone with Seth having a coughing fit and crying. This sounds more ridiculous the more that she talks about it. April says, what is Meredith trying to hide? Meredith doesn't realize the more she talks about this, the more it seems weird on her end. Okay. Okay. So she says that she thinks that Brittany bugged her room and that she doesn't try. Meredith is trying to discredit Brittany. Meredith wants to bring it back to Brittany being the woman that was recording them in the bus. She wants to make sure that her character has been completely obliterated with this group. But she doesn't realize that we're looking at Meredith like, Meredith, okay. So they are ending up going back to their villas, and they're on the golf carts, and Heather is recounting the conversation. Mind you, Heather has gotten away with all of this situation. Whitney and Angie were thrown under the bus because of Bronwyn, but Heather has been fine with Lisa. But Heather's retelling what the conversation was about, and she says, Meredith, you said this particular thing. And Meredith's like, no, I asked a question. And look, say what you want about Meredith. Meredith has a good memory because when they played it back, Meredith was sort of saying, do you think that this is why the Todd father is acting this way? Okay. So I have to say Meredith was correct. However, I don't think Meredith getting so upset at Heather was justifiable. What I did notice, though, once they got off the golf cart and they were walking in, Heather wanted to move on. They wanted to do a test of the soundproofing of the room. Heather wanted to have a good old time. Meredith, though, I think Meredith was drunk. I think Meredith was drunk. She was slurring her words. Go back and listen. As they're walking in, we hear Meredith, and Meredith is slurring her words. I think Meredith was drunk. Again, allegedly. So, but Meredith gets upset with Heather. She's like, no, you guys are talking about my marriage and insinuating. Now, again, first of all, the insinuation about you having an eating disorder, you're making a bigger deal than it needs to be. And now the insinuation about your marriage, she's like, I never said that about my marriage. Now I'm really looking at your marriage like, what, Meredith? You better talk about everything in season 6, because I don't think I can go through another season of us thinking things are going on. You've got to talk about it. Kiara says that, yes, she was very slurry. Ariana says she 100% sounded drunk. She was slurring her words. So it was, look. So she gets really upset with Heather. They go back to her room. She goes towards the back of the room, and then Lisa goes to check on her. And Lisa is just listening, and, Meredith is going off. So they're listening by the door, and Mary's like, see, this is, of course you heard her, because look how loud Meredith is. Sidebar. Was it the after show? I don't remember. No, I think it was at the dinner table where Mary in her confessional was like, why would Brittany put a recording device in Meredith's room? Meredith is boring. Like, Mary, not Slurry County. Not Slurry County. Okay. So Meredith is going off. I think Meredith is drunk. Meredith is clearly drunk in this moment. Dr. Jen says, not Meredith the grand drunk. At least she didn't get behind the wheel of a car, though. Oh, just say, look, there's nothing wrong with her drinking, but she's losing it. She's losing it. And she's making this a bigger situation. Now I'm looking at the insinuation about the ED. Now I'm looking at the insinuation about her marriage. But I told you that I don't see that marriage being real. I don't know why she stays with Seth, but maybe they stay. Maybe it's cheaper to keep each other, or maybe she wants to continue to to be married to Seth to keep her job. Okay. Chandler says, Tulare County, I am weak. I mean that now I can never unsee it. But we look. Has Surrey taken her ambassadorship from Karen Huger? They should. They should. Surrey, we're looking at you. They're probably like, Kempire, she's the only person that we have to bring names, and you don't want her as your advocate. From Slurry County. Sorry, damn. They don't deserve that. Sorry, Surrey. All right. All right. Let me take some calls, guys, because I got to go. I got to get out of here by 3 o'clock. All right. If we can keep a time check for me. Thank you. All right. Let's bring up some callers again. Again, callers. The callers are calling of their own free will. Let me put up this. All right. The callers agreed not to use profanity. They agreed not to be derogatory. And they also agree to respect the timer. Okay. All right. Wendy's backstage. We're going to bring Wendy up first. And Wendy, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, so we're Housewives of New York. Okay. I don't care about Jessel wanting to have a photographer every event she has. If she wants to spend her money on that, let her do it. Bring get a life. Okay, done with that. Okay. Salt Lake City. Okay, when Brittany was talking about that she found out she's going to confess some information. I literally got up in my bed like, okay, if she's going to say something about Jared, I'm just going to throw the pillow at the TV. And true enough, she talked about Jared. I was thinking she was going to say, I got cancer, I got this, I got that. But just to say, I've been sleeping with Jared, and Mary's like, well, we all knew that. I was done. So that's all I got to say. And you have a great day.
You too, Wendy. Bye. I think we all were like, because we know she always has it. I have an announcement. She's been doing that on social media too, from Wicked. I have an announcement. It's cute. It's funny. I'm on the fence with Brittany. If you're part of the replay crew, you let me know on how you would rate this week's episode of Salt Lake City and if you think that Brittany should come back. I want to hear from you guys. All right. Rasani's backstage. Hold on, Rasani. What's going on?
Happy New Year, Camp. Long time no see. Well, I've been catching the replay, but Happy New Year.
You too.
And Happy New Year, everyone.
What's going on?
No, okay, so trying to be quick.
Okay.
Didn't catch your what you said about New York, but I'll say this. Raquel, Jenna, all the ladies, we all know that they're employed, and we all know that we've seen them actually do work, with the exception of Bryn. You do the whole flirty, this, that. So, yeah, it leads to, and talk about the millionaire's private jet, yada, yada, yada. It's going to lead one to assume that that's how you get your money. Uba, I can't really fault her for going off on her because you were, antagonizing her. So I can't fault her for that. Dolly, yeah. However, the main housewives that's on the air right now, Salt Lake City. 10 out of 10. Mary is the MVP. Bronwyn, I'm looking at you side eye. I don't know why you're trying to be besties with Lisa. And just a quick thing for Bronwyn. This was your opportunity when what's her face? Brittany was recording, like, oh, Lisa, this is who you threw me to the curb for. You can have her. I'm good. That's what you should have done and said and kept it moving. But I had a lot more to say, but I'll keep it at that. Have a good one. Happy New Year. And I hope this year is healthy, productive, safe, and I wish everyone all of that for the year.
You too, Rasani. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right. So if we don't get to everyone, blame Rasani. We've got Joe backstage. Joe, what did you want to share about Salt Lake City or New York?
Yeah, before I do that, I'm sending all my prayers to the folks in LA.
Yeah.
Stay safe and be safe out there. So I think the Britney recording stuff, I think it definitely is a trigger for the rest of the cast because I don't know how exactly the filming of reality TV shows go, but I'm guessing there's a lot of moments where the cameras are down. And they're also probably worried that Britney might be recording it when their conversations when the cameras are down. So that's probably a trigger for them. Also, Meredith, saying that she was just asking a question. Yes, that could be a thing, but then it could also still mean that the way you ask the question could infer that you are on Todd's side. So I don't think just saying that she was asking a question is, a real excuse.
Yeah.
And speaking of, that, like Angie, Heather, and Whitney did intimate that Lisa and Meredith are involved in cheating. So, I mean, that wasn't really the point of Bronwyn making that, leading that conversation because that probably wasn't what she expected as, support for her. And then lastly, I don't know if you had any thoughts on Whitney Rose saying on Watch What Happens Live that they all went to dinner together after the reunion except for Bronwyn, because
Oh.
we the public might like Bronwyn, but it seems like the rest of the cast doesn't. Okay,
That's
that's all.
interesting. Thanks, Joe. I did not see that, but I mean, based off of where we're going at the end of the season, Bronwyn was dumb. Bronwyn, like the fact that I think you and Lisa would have been fine, but the fact that you squirmed to Lisa that same night and then threw Whitney, Angie, and Heather under the bus, you're proving what people have been saying about you from the beginning, that you're two-faced. And I really didn't think you were two-faced until that moment. So I'm not surprised that everyone went out, including Brittany, and you weren't there. That's not a good look, girl. Okay. Hayat's backstage. We're going to bring Hayat up next. Hayat, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, how are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, I am hiding from my boss. I'm trying to stay on this live. Kidding. I went to my meeting earlier. But
Okay.
anyways, still got to get that coin.
I know that's right.
So New York City, I really wish Uba was the Uba she wasn't for the first season. Fun, light. Something about that reunion changed her. Maybe I'm seeing a different side of her, and it's not good, Uba. Now that's all for that. Salt Lake is great. It's really sad what Bronwyn's doing, and I feel like all the girls give Lisa too much power and credit.
Yeah.
Like she is not that girl. You guys make her that girl.
I agree.
I wish they would do better. And I don't know if you watched the after show and Watch What Happens Live. It kind of feels like there's going to be a big situation at the finale, and I think it's about Bronwyn. I actually do think it's about Bronwyn or Meredith.
Oh, okay.
And because I feel like the girls are saying something about Bronwyn, and I'm starting to give Bronwyn a little bit of a side eye, even though they're pretty much all two-faced, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, that's it, Kempire. Got to get back to work.
Get back to work. Bye.
Bye.
All right. We have MK backstage. I'm going to bring them up next. MK, what did you want to share?
Hey there. So I felt really bad for Brittany, not gonna lie, when they were chewing her up in that van and seeing her crying outside.
Yeah.
But one thing that I was thinking about is in an earlier episode, Seth had a Big Lots hat on, and I read that they're foreclosing a lot of stores. So I was thinking, was Meredith crying perhaps because he's lost his job?
Again?
Maybe they have to move again? I don't know. And then all that combined with then Brittany recording them, because she was the most vocal out of all of them, and it felt serious but also kind of funny with just how she was blowing up, because I was like, it's not that big of a deal, like you guys are being recorded anyway by production. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you, MK, for calling in.
All right, bye.
Bye. All right. Let's restart the timer, guys. Don't forget to like the video. It's easy and it's free. Let's get to 500 likes. We're talking about the latest episode of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. We did talk a little bit about Real Housewives of New York as well. All right, let's bring up Anthony next. Anthony, what did you want to share about Salt Lake City or New York?
Hey, Kempire. Hey, community. Anthony from Los Angeles, California. How are you?
I'm well. I hope you're staying safe out there.
I am, thankfully. We're all good here with me and my partner, Kat. I would just like to say before, if you know anyone that lives here in Los Angeles, please check in on them. Make sure they're at least okay and they're safe and sound. It'll mean a lot because I had friends that done that for me and it means a lot to me. But okay, so far. Okay, so for Salt Lake City, I will give it a 10 out of 10. It literally made my morning after all this mess going on.
Yeah.
It was funny, it was adventurous. I love how Salt Lake City does a lot of adventurous things, especially that bridge. I could never, but now I want to plan a trip and actually do it because wow, if Whitney can do it, I can do it. So, in terms of the whole recording thing of Britney, I feel like maybe two theories could be one, she wanted a legitimate receipt, even though it has nothing to do with her. But I feel like Housewives, that would be a normal thing to do in
Mm.
terms of a recording or a video to show proof. This is what happened. Even though this conversation happened for like 20 long minutes, we only get 3 minutes of it in an episode. So you want the full extended thing of what actually has been said and has been done. But she wasn't involved in it. So I'm not understanding why she would do that. But secondly, I think would be to leak to blogs because
Mm.
this is what's happening to leak something because I don't understand why Brittany would do this. But I
Yeah.
still want her to come back because this girl is a mess and I love it. But thank you so much, Kempire.
Stay safe, Anthony. Thanks for calling in. Um, I did have that thought yesterday. For those that were watching me on TikTok, I was like, don't forget. Although during the after show we found out that she recorded them multiple times, but remember Ashley ended up recording the group. I forgot what season it was or what the incident was, but we were all thankful that she kept on recording. We hoped that Lisa Rinna had recorded the audio of Kathy Hilton, but we never got that, so we're not sure if that was even true. But remember when Ashley did it, and we were all like, "Yay! Well, at least we have the cameras were down, but the cameras weren't down in the Sprinter." I do believe that Britney was trying to do something nefarious. At first, I didn't think that until they said that wasn't the first time that they caught her recording them. Oof. All right, let's get to Arjun. Arjun, what did you want to share?
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, you know about the Jessel? Did she say that or was that a rumor on the show? Because I haven't watched it yet.
A rumor about what?
Like she was married to Papa, but she was meant to get married to someone else.
I don't know if she's ever said it on the show. This is we have to go by what the women said. This is what
Oh,
they're
I haven't
saying.
watched the show, so there was a rumor basically they were saying.
Yeah. Well, no, they're saying that she told them that.
Damn, that's gonna play a hard that's gonna be on the marriage.
Or maybe not.
And you know what? Jessel is so good with the show. Jessel is actually really good because last season when she opened about IVF, that was such a good thing because not many people in the Asian community speak about it.
Mm.
So like she brings up, and now this, I think she's trying to get awareness.
Oh,
She's trying to bring awareness.
okay. All right.
And with Britney, what she did was really bad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we need Britney back.
Oh.
Because if they keep getting rid of this, people like Monica, was it Monica, her name?
Yes. You don't remember? Damn, Monica.
They need, they need to, they need to keep Britney for next season.
Okay. All
And
right.
I always said it. Bronwyn was two-sided. I said it from day one. Go
Oh.
bye.
Okay, Arjun. Thank you for calling in. Wow. Okay. All right. We have a couple more calls and then I got to go. All right. We have Eli backstage. We're going to bring Eli up next. Eli, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
I just wanted to say, first of all, New York, I'm over it. Like at the dinner, when they were all quiet the whole time, trash, they need to throw it out. And the fact that they sat there and kikied about Jessel, I'm sick. And I was glad Jessel stood up, but this is why, even though I kind of low key like Jessel, this is why she needs to go because she can't read nobody. Like Jessel's Brendan's there talking all that junk to her, and she's not saying nothing like it was cute, but it wasn't nothing powerful.
You're
Then
right.
with Salt Lake City, I love it, 10 out of 10. Bronwyn, I'm so disappointed in her because she was eating the season up, but then she did that wrong move. Even if she didn't mean it that way, that's how it came across. And the way Lisa spit it out, you guys were talking about me. I'm like, so she should have known it was gonna go left. And so to me, and then Brittany, she needs to come back. And also I just feel like Heather's dragging what happened last season. I'm so over it. Like she's dragging it so hard. And yeah, I don't know. It was really good. And then Meredith is just hilarious. Like even though she doesn't bring much, in those moments where she just goes off, it's just so funny. But I do think Brittany shouldn't have done that. And yeah, so but I think she should stay.
Okay. All right, Eli. Thank you so much for calling in. All right. Eli brought up a really good point. And this is part of the reason why I think in my head I'm thinking Roni's not coming back just because I feel like everyone has just been terrible. But he's correct. Like the fact that they were talking so much about you, this was your moment to get activated and prove that you are a good addition to the show. Although I do think that Jessel has navigated the season. She looks great. She had the upgrade. But what else has she really offered beyond that? And this was a moment for her to at least get activated and hold her own. And she really didn't even do that. Okay, let's bring up El Michelle as our last caller. El Michelle, what did you want to share about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City or New York?
Well, first of all, I want to say to the people in California, prayers to you, those who have family in California, prayers to you to be able to support them in however way you can.
Yeah.
As far as the shows, New York, I really don't want to talk about it, but as far as Salt Lake City, they are a 10 out of 10 this season. I was sad when they said next week was the last was the last episode. Every episode has been great, no fillers. I feel like instead of Potomac, Salt Lake City could have been nominated for the NAACP award.
Oh, damn.
There's Mary. Mary had a great storyline. I know she's the only Black person there, but she carried the season as well. So that's all I have to say. Enjoy your day, Kempire,
You
as well as the
too.
chat. Thank you for everything.
Thanks, El Michelle. All right. I mean, when she said it, I thought it was really interesting, though, that Potomac got nominated for the NAACP award, Image Award, and Essence just slammed them for, Mia Thornton and her lack of a valid storyline. But I thought that was interesting timing of everything. But yeah. Anyways, I appreciate everyone calling in. We had a couple of super chats I want to say thank you for as well. RC, thank you so much for the super chat. RC says, Kempire, please bite into your first MG sprinkle gingerly for your sake if you ever get them. Would hate for you to lose a tooth or two. OMG, RC. Damn. Rasani, thank you so much for the super chat. Rasani says, how many more episodes does Salt Lake City have? Do you know? Because they have yet to have a filler episode. Next week is the season finale. I have to say, Orange County too. Stellar season. They didn't really have a filler episode. Rasani, thank you for another super chat. If Brittany stays, is to keep Meredith activated. Oh. So you think they're going to be beefing? Oh, I don't think so. I don't think Brittany's set up to beef with someone for this long. I think Brittany will continue to have a beef with Bronwyn as well. All right. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. We appreciate the support. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's easy and it's free. Thank you to our Kings Guards. Thanks to our channel members. Become a member today at TeamKempire.com/join. We're going to continue this conversation in the comment section, but don't forget, I might be adding some additional thoughts because I do have some more thoughts about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So make sure you subscribe to the Kempire podcast. All right. I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure you subscribe and make sure your notifications are on so you don't miss out on anything that's coming up here on the channel because I have a few things that I want to talk about. I just have a lot of appointments and things like that. So that's part of the reason why I haven't scheduled them yet. Joe, thank you for another super chat. Joe says, would you drive down to Jersey to get them? No. Look, no. When I can get sprinkle cookies here in New York, no. Anyways, thank you guys so much for the super chat. Don't forget the Kempire After Dark live experience is coming to a city near you. More information is available in the description. A new year and new shows. The Kempire After Dark live experience is returning to Washington, D.C. on Friday, January 24th of 2025. I know it's going to be an interesting week, so why not unwind, relax, and have a good time with our community and me at Union Stage again on Friday, January 24th, 2025. Meet and greet tickets are still available. All the information will be available in the description. New York City, then you're up next for Black History Month. We're bringing the Kempire After Dark live experience back to the Green Room 42. So if you want to talk hot topics and more with me, make sure you get your tickets today. But for those that can't make it to the show, or maybe you're international and you still want to view the show, get this exclusive opportunity to get the streaming option, the live streaming option at the Green Room 42 for the Kempire After Dark live experience happening on Friday, February 21st of 2025. More information on both shows will be available in the description.
Here we go now.